Welcome to Low Country Spotlight. I'm Debbie Martinez, sitting in for Margie, who is on a very well-deserved vacation in Florida. First, let me say, I am so excited to be hosting this show, but more importantly, I am very excited for the lineup of guests that I have for you. So let's jump in and get started. My first guest is Cliff Washburn, who is the head basketball coach for Cane Bay High School, and he is also the transitional living director for Eagle Harbor Boys Home. Cliff, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
You know, we met by chance, although we talked about that. I don't believe anything is by chance or coincidence.
Right.
People cross your path for a reason. And you started sharing with me your vision for your basketball team this year. And as a life coach, it really resonated with me because your mantra was, I am more than an athlete, I'm a man. Can you talk about that?
Well, attending the Citadel, I went there from 1998 till 2002. The common theme there that was pushed amongst all cadets was a whole man aspect, which is spirit, mind, and body. So that's what I want to try to push without, obviously without breaking any rules on the spiritual end of things,
Right.
But we want to push the spirit, mind, and body that you are more than just a basketball player. These boys have to understand that one day they are going to be grown men and they have to survive in the world, and it takes more than just being good at high school basketball to survive in this world.
Right, and you know, in this day and age, don't you think not just children or young adults, but a regular adult, we get caught up in what we do instead of who we are. And to be able to teach and mentor athletes like your basketball team to say, hey, listen, someday you're not going to be playing basketball. Someday you're going to be a father. Someday you're going to be a coworker. Someday you're going to be a husband. And how are you going to tackle all of that? What is going to be your mindset?
Right. So, you know, all of those things are important. You know, them being fathers, them being husbands, them being, you know, also mentors themselves when they're older, depending on the field of work that they go into. So we want to teach all of that. We're one big community here in the United States, in Charleston. We're just one big community, and we have to remember that you know, maybe the motto is each one teach one. You know, we all have to get in and help, and it takes a village to raise these children, and everybody should get on board and be a part of the transformation of our youth. Truly, they need it.
They
today.
do. They do. And one of the ideas that you had was to come in during every team or before the team with a quote of the day. Right. Can you talk about that?
Right. So it's a small thing. It's a small thing that we try to do. I have quite an array of books that I can pull quotes from, and I try to bring something in every day that's not too taxing. The boys can think about, and I challenge them to give me something what they believe that means, and they'll give me their own rendition. I'll have a couple of the coaches give me their interpretation of what they think it is, and it's fun to see them thinking about this, pondering on this, and they come to their conclusions, and then they hear something that from a coach that maybe makes a little bit more, captures it a little bit more than what the words they were able to put it into. So,
and I think it's great that you're not just standing up there as a traditional coach. You're actually getting them involved and getting them invested in the quote of the day. And what do you think of this? How is it going to relate to your everyday life? How does it relate to us as a team?
Right.
And that investment, I think, is what keeps them growing.
I try to challenge them always to explain things to me verbally, because I believe if they can explain it to me verbally back to me, then I think they understand it. If they can't explain it to me verbally, I'm thinking maybe they didn't hear it well. Maybe I have to explain it again to them verbally. I have to show them through pictures or whatever means it is to make sure that they understood. And if they can explain it to me verbally, then I know they have it.
I just think you are such a great coach. You know, I would love to see this whole, I'm more than an athlete, I'm a man. I would love to see that as some sort of a county initiative. That really should be across all athletics in the county. Well,
you know, I wouldn't say that a lot of coaches in the county are not doing it. You know, coaches put a lot of time into coaching. I mean, they're with these kids sometimes more than they're with their own families.
Right,
And
right.
so they're putting a lot of time, and it's not all about, and I think some people think it may be all about football or all about basketball or all about baseball
winning.
or all about winning. And it's not all about winning. You know, we as coaches really try to sow into these kids' lives, and what we need is more help from the community. We need more help from parents, even if your kids are playing, or if your kids have graduated, or if your kids are not of age to play. We need help from all adults to be there and be with us in this mission.
Well, let's talk about something else. You're also the transitional living director for the boys' home. And that is near and dear to my heart because I used to teach at a children's home in Florida. So tell us a little bit about the home, and how as a community can we help support that home?
Right. The home is started by Mr. Danny Gilbert and his wife Liz Gilbert, 1995, and it's a home for abused children. And you know, there's 2 homes there on about 80 acres of land out in Somerville, and it's just an awesome place. We really try to enrich the kids' lives. These kids are coming from some rough backgrounds, and we're trying to give them as normal a life as possible, whether it be at school. They go to regular, normal public schools, you know, through chores, through you know, their lives are like most other kids. They have to make their beds, they have to do chores, they have to, you know, they have to go to church on Sunday. You know, they have to do these things that are going to enrich their lives, and that's what we try to do. Just make life as normal as possible for them, and hopefully when they leave there, sometimes kids are there for a week, sometimes kids are there for a year, sometimes kids are there for 4 or 5 years. And as long as we have them, we're going to try to enrich their lives and do all we can to help them be ready to go out into the world. Because truly, as adults, that's our only job for
Right.
kids. Our job is not
You have to
necessarily,
prepare them.
right. It's not necessarily to be their friend.
Right.
It's to prepare them for adulthood so they can survive in this world.
You are the parent in absentia.
Absolutely.
So we have about a minute left. How, as a community, is there any way that we as a community can support the boys' home?
Right. Well, always donations. Anything. You know, with monetary donations, we can always do so much. You know, it gives us a lot of leeway to go a lot of different directions in helping the children. But we accept donations as far as clothing. We accept donations as far as food, non-perishables. We accept all of those donations. We even accept donations as far as someone may have an old car, you know, and it may be a 1987, whatever it is, and we would accept that car, and we would take that car and help a young man who is maybe coming of age, needing to drive, needing to experience and learn independence. We would help them get that car.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being on, and all of your information is going to be on the screen and on our website. And please send me your calendar. I want to be on the bleachers cheering that team on this year.
Right.
Thank you, Cliff.
Thank
I
you,
really
Debbie.
appreciate it. Do not go anywhere, and I just love this man's forward thinking. We will be right back with more Low Country Spotlight.